I've been doing movie reviews for a while now, and for the most part, the reactions to them have been pretty mixed. Since I review so many different kinds of movies, I naturally have people agreeing with some of my reviews and not at all with others. But then I started using that word objective, and everyone was like, So I thought I would make a quick video explaining exactly what I mean when I say that I'm being objective. I think a lot of people took this to mean that my conclusions were objectively right, or that what I was saying is objectively true, whether anyone thinks it is or not. If that were the case, then it would be impossible for anyone to have a different point of view in the first place. That level of objectivity would be impossible to argue with. Every film critic reviews subjectively, and I am no different. Otherwise, there would be no dissenting opinions at all. It would mean that a review would somehow exist outside of the person reviewing it, and that just kind of gives me a headache. There are only two ways in which I attempt to be objective in my reviews. If you read Roger Ebert's review or watch his video review of Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, you will see that most of his problems with the movie had to do with the fact that he didn't like the tripods. Tripods are stupid because things naturally work better on 4 legs than they do on 3. It is that kind of subjective complaint that I really try not to do in my reviews. I can't say that I'm always successful, but I try very, very hard not to make a complaint like that. Roger Ebert not liking the tripods should not be enough of a reason for him to give the movie a bad review. You have to focus on something more substantive than that, more important and less personal, in order to do a good review, in my opinion. Character problems and story problems are, for me, far more important than what a prop looks like, and so those are what I really try to focus on and try to stay as true to what's going on in the film as possible. If I say something negative about a movie, such as a character being an asshole or that nothing is happening, I do everything I can not to take the movie out of context. The beginning of 2001: A Space Odyssey really was just landscape over and over again. Simba really did disobey 4 of his elders in the beginning of the movie. So when I conclude that nothing happens in 2001 or that Simba is an asshole, those conclusions are based on things that really did happen. I can't imagine why anyone would come to a different conclusion based on those things, but whether or not you agree with them, they really are things that actually happened in the movie. I am not making this up. And that is the limit to what I mean when I say I am being objective in that first case. The second case is this. In my view, Howard the Duck is not just a movie that lots of people didn't like. It's a bad movie. And the reason it's a bad movie is because it contains many universal flaws that most people seem to recognize. In my view, the movies that I have reviewed contain just as many universal flaws for them to be considered bad movies as well. It's just that people don't seem to recognize them in this case. This does not mean that I am automatically correct in that conclusion. It simply means that what I am analyzing in these reviews are flaws that I believe go to the core of what makes the movie either work or not. And that can be determined to make the movie bad. But whether or not you agree with that conclusion is up to you. All I'm doing is making a case for what I believe. The Confused Matthew reviews are most certainly subjective, but I try to ground them in as much of an objective basis as I possibly can. And that is the extent of what I mean by an objective review.